Doesn't have to be too obvious. I made it. I made it. And I'm making it. Quickly step off screen while we allow people to be here, but I'm not going far at all. And yeah, that was such a journey. I'll come back and just keep. You can fill in, like, not all on me. So as you can see in the description, I just came from a neat little impromptu concert, so to speak. I had not really intended. I had intended to just come live stream, and I again had rough ideas, but nothing really, no actual ideas. And now I am just, I went out earlier and I went like this, and it's not good smoking out with the force, and I kind of was like smoking the air, just kind of like I talked about in the previous video. Even though smoking's not great, it is what it is, I guess. But to make sure that I'm breathing in that lovely natural air that we have, and and the thankfulness that it's not polluted and that kind of stuff, right? Um, and and then I came in and I titled it, and then I found myself watching something else, and then I couldn't pull myself away. The interesting thing about this individual who I'm referring to, Maxie is his name. We'll say that. He's got Moxie. Restaurant. Um, I think I know what that word means. I suppose I shouldn't say it if I don't know what it means, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Anywho, and I may have pretty quickly subscribed and liked, but I did not watch his content. And sometimes his vocals are interesting, and he doesn't necessarily sometimes reach notes. But the more I see of him, the more I know that he does not only seem like, and I can't tell if he's drunk, but that's neither here nor there necessarily. I don't think he is. I think he's just enjoying himself, and we're all enjoying him too. And his chat was pretty active, so he was, giving kind of shout outs to people as best as he could, and then he was pretty good at knowing when he kind of had, and he was taking people's song requests, and so there was lots of song requests, and so I don't have a ton of energy, but I might try and do some. But yes, that was quite an adventure. Yeah, I don't know if I want to keep the previous one. I'm almost tempted at the moment to delete it. It really wasn't very long at all because as soon as I started it, like I say, but then this says take two, and I want people to know what it's kind of take two from. And I do like the title. I think I like the title, and I might want to do more with it later. I don't remember it strongly, and that's the other thing. But I do kind of remember it, and I think there was a good message in it, and we'll call it a short little preview. And sure, why not, right? Just kind of settling in, and maybe I don't need to, but maybe I'm. They said it's pretty good. Well, he's saying welcome, but he said he was going to wrap up, and I don't know if he's going to or not. He's only been rolling 49 minutes, so I don't know. I just put this on, I know, and I'm already warm. Just going back to that concert, and even though I might not have the body for it, I just want to be dancing around with my shirt off and and seeing others do the same. Because that's us at our purest form or essence. I'm not saying I'm a nudist or ever would be, and that's kind of funny because I give it. And I guess I'll put it in the comments. Doesn't take very long for people to I really should make up a sign that it just constantly. I mean, I can say it. I can put it in the description in the comments, and even when the chat's active, it's so far been usually one or two people for the most part, and sometimes I put things in there too. But I should really just have a sign handy and just kind of put that there. That way, people know that this is what this channel is about, and I don't say anything that's going to make anybody kind of um, kind of you know not like, so that I say I'm diverse, and so I don't know if I really have a specific audience, but at the same time, that's my audience, people who are diverse and free spirited, because I mean, I could be wrong, but I hate to say this word, but I don't think I'd do well with an uptight audience. I don't know. I don't know if an uptight person would be uptight about that, or if they'd be like, "Yeah, that's me." Um, but we have somebody here, so welcome. Yes, it's oh my goodness. Aside from doing mine, and I'm sure there have been others, but there was just a certain energy to that podcast that I watched. Musically, uh, beautiful in so many ways, and yeah, I'm feeling the rush of it, and I'm feeling it just kind of run through my body, and I've got to wonder if that person here was here for a few seconds, is also there, and they're like, oh, and this looks great, this sounds great, and I've been curious about him because of his comments, but I can't pull myself away from Maxie, and oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do, and you know, I wish they were in the same room podcasting together, because then I could do this all on one video. But that was just a little snippet. I was just checking on things, but honestly, now that I'm rolling, I don't feel like I can keep up with both, and I don't want to toggle too much. I'll have to decide if I do songs, because I'd have to look them up, and I don't like doing them on the cell phone anyway. But it's a nice option when I know what the thing is, and I don't. So, oh, you'd think with all these tabs I have open, I'd be able to kind of use one to look up music, all these windows and tabs, but that would be silly, wouldn't it? I do have one song idea, but I still haven't given it another listen, so I'd have to. I feel like I should familiarize myself a little bit more with it first, um, and then and then the other ideas I got last night. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll do them. It'd be kind of a random suggestion. I mean, I think he's fairly well known, but he's not. He's got a number of albums, and he's probably tours, and he might even be more well known than I realized, just not to me. But I am thinking of one individual. It's got to be almost done a session now. And then you know what? We'll have a good nap. It's finally past noon. And then we carry on, Revert Sun. Yes, I could do that one. I did a little snippet of it the other day. I do wonder if having that door open there might be um, letting in warm air, because I think the breeze has kind of slowed down a bit, and it's gotten hot, 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 hot fun in the summertime. The only reason I might go back to that one is for suggestions. But I don't mind taking this a bit slow and waiting till people come in here and give me suggestions. I'm good with that too. You know, in that 3, in that 4. That King Cole was a merry old soul. Man, that's from my childhood. So was he. Called for his pipe and he called for something and he called for his fiddlers 3. I think so. And I did do a podcast earlier today. And maybe the fact that I have had brunch about an hour ago, maybe I'm still feeling, it wasn't like it was super heavy, but maybe that made me kind of tired. Whee! Okay. But you know what? I let people know that I was setting up a podcast. I let them know that I was planning to roll soon. And I think I sparked some people's curiosity, whether they come see this Rocks live or afterwards, which is also cool. I'm also curious to see the AI chat summary puts it in the chat or puts it in the comments. Although I guess it'll probably specify that it's from there, but I don't know how to unselect it now, so I guess that's fine. And we got somebody here, so welcome. Haven't been rolling super long, but let's see where this takes us on a musical, conversational, and laughter and love adventure. That's kind of lyrical. I'll have to put that in a song. Feel free to help me with that. And I'm pretty sure that, chat is on. So let's get chatting. I don't really want to toggle too much because I'm worried that the device might freeze up. However, if I'm opening up songs, hopefully fairly easily once I play them, closing those tabs, I'll make my way back here onto this tab. And so that's how I'm seeing it differently. I am kind of curious if the person that tuned in was watching Maxie a little earlier, and that's how you know of me. But either way, you're welcome. I mean, either way, you are welcome, and you're welcome. And thank you. So this is just, as the comment says, very free-flowing. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do. So I do welcome a song request. I do welcome a topic, and we got a like. And I appreciate it. Earlier, I was going to say something in a previous podcast this morning that I'm sensing maybe saying again. The person that's watching, did you know that you just unliked? Was that intentional? And if it's touch football, the video that you first saw of me, I do forget the title, but I know that not Summer. I keep wanting to say Summer in the live chat. If it was just the other day, I think Colton's name was in it. Sounds of the 70s or something like that was in the chat. And I put a little comment underneath the video. And if this isn't you, then this doesn't apply. But if it is you, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry if you've been feeling, and it might not be anything because of me, or maybe it is, I don't know. If you've been feeling anxious, okay, I want you to know that I understand, and I'm here to try and help, regardless of, you know, who's dealing with what, you know. And sometimes misunderstandings do happen, and we can work through them. So I'll leave that at that. Because you are the only person currently here, because I haven't been rolling that long, and there's so much on YouTube, and you are still watching, but you haven't re-liked it. Oh, and you re-liked it, so I appreciate that. And yes, I'm very curious. I had I don't know how musical this is going to be, but there's always going to be little inserts. Maybe I'll sing a little line of something here and there, and then I don't have to toggle the tabs at all. But I did have, and I'm like, um, and I'll say this right now: if that's is intended as what I would call head games, it's not welcome here. We don't need to. I mean, we can have fun, we can enjoy each other's company, but we don't need head games. I'm not sure why it's happening, but um, I'm tempted to kind of share a little bit about something that was kind of flowing through my mind when I was trying to fall asleep last night. I think that's when it was. Yeah. Um, but it may only make sense to people that saw those videos the other day. If the name COLTYN means anything to the viewer that is watching, then let me know. And it might be a case of, somebody who that person is connected to. I'm just going to quickly. I'm noticing the cushion on this chair. And I've noticed it. And while I'm up, I might as well close this. So let's pull that one. And he's been in the sun for a while, but he's been in the shade too. So, and now it's down to 0. So that was odd, but anyway, okay. Maybe there was someone who really hates when somebody leaves the screen. It's like, you're leaving, I'm leaving. I was only leaving for a minute or two. Although, no, I think it's gotten too hot out to want to be in it with how I'm feeling, and just, yeah. Although there is that breeze, so I don't know. And if it wasn't who I thought it was, because it only indicated along the top, and I said that whole thing, I still think that, worthwhile things were said there. And, I mean, when I think about that username, it is probably fairly common. I'm surprised that actually it's possible when that's not a duplicate, unless YouTube does allow that. But I felt like it needed to be said and heard by that individual and perhaps others. So there you have it. We did. We had a nice lunch. I've stepped outside a few times. I don't think the breeze is super consistent. I'm just looking at this tree that we have in our backyard. But I'm looking at one just beyond it, which is a little smaller and possibly more easily moving in the breeze, and it's moving quite a bit more. So I don't know. I don't want to be, again. I mean, sometimes I'll have to be, and I try and be quick about it. And it's hard when you're running live, and then life's distractions and stuff, and not being really, sometimes yeah. So that's part of the freeness of it in some ways. I mean, I would say maybe there are some limitations to that, but mostly not. But I don't know. I kind of don't want to leave the screen, because somebody might tune in who would like to be here. And, patience is a hard thing. It really is. And I understand that, but I also don't. And it's like, what if they came in and were willing to wait a moment, but like nothing was happening, so they left. They might come back, but there's always fun stuff happening in my podcasts. And sometimes it's the viewers that add to that in good and kind and sweet ways, and then other times it's just me or it's loved ones. So but I'm sensing something. I'm sensing something a little bit. And I could be wrong, but I'm sensing it, and I'm going to roll with this quote and say, that guy, dude, he really struggles to accept himself and his feelings sometimes. And I know it can be hard, and we're all on a journey, he says. And that can be hard for any of us, you know. He's just saying, try not, and I mostly won't. But he says, try not to think much about it, you know. Um, it's actually reminding me, so it's reminding me that I think the individual, and there was nobody else here at the time, unless the indicators were wrong, but if it's going to indicate one accurately, it would indicate anybody, as far as I'm concerned. That, I don't think it's a settings thing, but, liked something a couple times. So you're on you've got the right momentum happening. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up, mate. And that was a good reminder. Like, I mean, it should have been obvious, but I mean, I almost didn't kind of click with that, like something was, liked it a couple times. So I did something right, you know? Come on, viewer, come on in and let's chat and get you interested. And then I'm going to leave for half an hour. No, I was kidding. 5 minutes at most. I want this to be worthwhile. I am a little bit worried about our dog, though. Maybe I'm just going to peek out just to kind of give him some water. But I don't like when he goes to the gate. I know he's careful, but the dog is fast. And I'm just a little bit worried. I know what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do, folks. Pay attention. There is some floaties, but okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you do not think it, let him in, but he looks like he was. I know. Okay, make sure you bring that in, and yeah, mixy. Can't be gone long. I'm back again from another adventure. For the mind to process. And that may have seemed a little bit dramatic or over the top, but it's just me being silly. But no, seriously, I don't know how much of that you heard there, but it's kind of like, oh, it is pretty decent out. I can do these during the day when he's at work, or when it's raining. But I mean, at the same time, I kind of feel like that 5 minutes was good enough for me for now. I'm doing this. I'm feeling this. I'm hoping that some of those people, whether that guy's podcast wraps up or not, may come here because they did seem curious. One person, although I'd never find it in the chat easily, I thought they said, "What is your podcast about?" And I think that's an interesting question because, I mean, maybe some people are specific, but the one that we were watching, I mean, music, yes, but socializing a little bit. I mean, like it's even the people that are very organized and specific. I feel like it's never just about one thing. So, or when I'm gonna have a guest on, and they say, okay, what's it about? You. That's what I'm asking, and it's always good to ask, and ask for permission that, or yeah, it's like, I'm inviting you because it would be about you. You know what I mean? Um, so like when I have them on camera. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm so, and some people would say, well, why don't you bring this outside and do it out there? Well, it's wanting to not wanting to just enjoy being out in the yard without this distraction part of it, and not wanting to kind of blend the two, and have some privacy while I'm doing these, even though it is on YouTube. Also, I don't think the device would hold the connection very very well if I was out there. So um I'm in here. And it's kind of quiet and boring. I'm kind of wanting to go back to that guy's podcast. Is it still happening? Yes, it's good. That's that is confusing. I don't mean to, but I do because I'm multitasking. We got someone here, so I'm going to pause that because it would be distracting. I'm not sure how it's coming through because I'm recording this on the same device I was playing it. So welcome. Did I say that just a moment ago? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, this is free flowing music, conversation, laughter of love, kindness, and fun. So let's have some of that with each other, right? Um, I'm curious how you found this podcast, like how you discovered uh, me and this channel. Um, I wish I was a bit more organized. I mean, I did just look back at the live chat of that other video and saw some song ideas, but I don't know. I'm not sure what to go with. um, hmm. I'm just pacing myself. It's been a somewhat active day, and as much as lively and fun is good, slow and serenity is also good, right? In that balance, yeah. Um, I'm just realizing I don't know why only just now, but how I almost don't know if I should mention it, but my arms are not really that long and thin and white. I promise. I don't know why. I'm gonna, yeah. I can do that. Anywho, um, and I've got the other person in the house and our dog out on the back deck, and I kind of want to be there. I said, well, I'm not going to bring this there before you tuned in, but so yeah, if you have a song request or a topic request, don't be shy. I don't bite usually. No, I pretty much don't. Yeah, I'm pretty laid back, if you can't tell. I know I had started to kind of explain something earlier, and then I veered from it, and I'm trying to decide if I should go back to that. And if you came from Maxie's podcast and you're trying to decide, should I stay here? Should I go back there? Oh my gosh, this is such a hard decision. I hear you. I really liked his vibe. I don't know until we start getting comments, what else to say, but that encapsulates it pretty well. Yeah, and I'm curious if the person watching, if you don't mind saying so, if you've ever seen videos on my channel before, or if this is your first time, which would be what it would be if you hadn't seen any of them before, I suppose. Hey, it's my first time too. Just kidding. It's my first time doing this one. I am feeling slightly musical, and I've been feeling musical, well, throughout my life, but since last night, and I haven't done as much music as I would like, and I'm just buzzing and floating with ideas. So if you can think of something that would sound cool a cappella or with piano and flute, maybe, feel free to put it in the comments, and we'll see what we can do. I know we can do it. I'm sure we can do it. I bet. So just defining what it is. I do appreciate your presence, though. I mean, like I said, I'd like it even more if you commented, but I do appreciate your presence here. Just to let you know that. Yeah, it's just after 1:00, but it's been a day. It's been an enjoyable day, and I hope it's been the same for you, wherever you're watching and whatever time it is in the day. You're like, it's always interesting when someone says, "How are you?" or "How is your day going?" and they're from a different place or whatever, and so they, they're well into their day, and you're just starting, and they're like, "I don't know, ask me in an hour or two. I've only just woken up," right? Kind of thing. But as hard as it can be to sometimes get out of bed and do things, it is worthwhile. It's worthwhile to try, and there will always be some good that comes from it, I would say. And again, I know sometimes it's harder to see that than other times. But thanks for the like. Again, I'm just pacing myself here, trying to figure out. I've verbalized a lot of my thoughts, but I also am just trying to figure out what I want to say, what I want to play, how I want to say it, how I want to play it. We got 2 of you here now. Welcome. It was quiet the first half, and I wasn't sure. Should I keep rolling? And I thought, yeah, I want to build some. And I'm thinking that the person who was here before but there's still 2 of you here. So I don't know what's with this. And it doesn't seem, when I mentioned that I noticed and I didn't know if you intended to do it, you didn't re-like. And I'm definitely, quit messing with my head, yo. Come on. Let's you wouldn't like it done to you, right? And there's so much power, and treat people the way you want to be treated and do unto others, right? And I'm not trying to call you a bad person, but I'm just trying to understand why you're doing that. But again, I am glad that you're both here. And as Colton said, you liked it. That's the other thing. That might be indicating when you're not liking it on the bottom corner, but you're liking it in the, although no, because it would show up here. And actually, I don't even know if that's an option. Yeah, and the emojis along the side there, we've got 4 or 5 options. It might depend on your device though too. Trying to remember if I don't think I've ever been able to. But we show each other some likes and some loves, and and we do this thing called life, and we get through our days, right? And when we give each other the like and the love and the goodness that we have, it just grows, and it's lovely, right? I am itching to do a song, but I can't think of. I have one open in this tab. But again, I'd rather do it when Emmy was here. I could go back to Maxie's and see just what jumps out here. If it toggles well, okay. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm seeing songs. I'm seeing people saying things, but I'm not seeing songs. So, but there's certainly lots of songs in that guy's live chat being suggested, and some good ones. So how is your day going? However much of it you've been experiencing so far. I feel the need to do some stretches too. So one I've recently learned, you don't need to. I think of this in gym machines. I can't remember the name of the machine, and my shoulders are a bit tight, but it feels good. I kind of came into doing that because of Qigong a little bit. Okay, let's think of a song. Because there was somebody watching one of the ones last night that kind of caught because of the device I was doing it on, which I'm not doing it on now. I mean, which might be obvious because it hasn't caught. But, and they seemed like they were open to hearing a song. But I was tired. It was late at night. It's afternoon here now. I couldn't think of a song. I did put a comment under that video, kind of about, why it wrapped up, and it wasn't quite intentional, but and here's the thing, and I feel like you're sensing it too. I, not to toot my own bugles, I would say, but I do have musical talent. I do, and so I just I'm sometimes indecisive, or at the moment it's just like I'm just a blur in my head at the moment, where it's like there might be songs swimming around in there amongst thoughts, and it's like I might just have to start singing what I'm saying, just to kind of show you that to make this musical. Because I said in one of my videos recently that I pretty easily, like, I'll say something and it might remind me of a song. That isn't really happening. It isn't really happening, but it is. It doesn't have the same effect, but it is. And I do all genres pretty much. But you know what? Not as much as I'd like to, either at the beginning, end, or throughout, do music in every one of my podcasts, and I do often, but there definitely sometimes I don't, and I don't have to necessarily either. But it's maybe I should make up a song thanking those who stick around even if they're shy. Whether they're a girl or whether they're a guy, whether they may be whatever your boat keeps it afloat. I don't know. I had a float today of a certain type with root beer. But other than that, I'm splashing myself with water. No, I'm high on life and clean and in that kind of way. So yeah, um, and every now and then I'll catch myself, but a lot of times I don't know what's coming out of my mouth until it's been said. So, and that's like a lot of us, really. I mean, seriously, anybody who said it wouldn't be completely accurate, probably. Some are a bit more kind of intentional or whatever, but I don't want to kind of press onto this too much, but I feel it's worth asking because I am curious. I'm a very curious type, and I'm curious. We have someone at the moment, and I don't know if you realize this actually, but at this current moment, and you probably do, you're the only one here, and am I the only one? No, and I'm just wondering why you're shy to comment in the viewer left. Okay, okay, but either came back or somebody else is here. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to be shy no more. I have lots of great things to say. Maybe, hopefully. And if it's somebody else that's here, because there was somebody else, or there was somebody that was here. Now, it only indicates that at the top until you come into the comments, unless it's after the fact, and then there. So either way, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but there's always people that might be hearing certain things for the first time, or at least from me. I do realize, even though I might be easy to keep up with, I do realize that I might be hard to keep up with when you're also trying to keep up with your own thoughts. Everybody is different. Some people can multitask and stuff, and I think the internet is built for ADHD in some ways. It's possibly created it in some people, but they can hyper focus as well. I was going to say hyperbole, whatever that is. I've heard of it, but and we all have to multitask sometimes, right? But if you're very audio visual, then you're processing the audio visual that's coming at you while trying to write your own comment. I can see the challenge sometimes. I think I've gotten better at it over the years, and yeah, just kind of to plug Max Stranger again for a moment. I mean, man, I was feeling the rush, man. I don't know. Maybe, well, I've done some Rush music recently. I was going to say, give it a like at least if you'd like me to cover some Rush music, but then I did do that recently, and I don't know a lot of Rush songs. I did 2 or 3, and that's almost about as many as I know. So, and if you are sending something in the chat, I'm not seeing it for some reason. I have chat on, so I mean, but it's possible that you're not as well. So again, though, happy that you're here. And yeah, oh, it's I don't know. I come up with songs a lot. Bruno Mars, yeah. Seeing a lot of that when I come back to that guy's tab. And I'm also seeing something about originals. I don't have a lot of originals, and I write a lot on the spot. And if Touch Football happens to be watching, I'm not going to, touch on things too much connected to you. But I wrote a song at the end of that video that you saw the other day, with Colton's help. And I'm trying to remember if I posted it in its own video since then. I think I read it out, but the chording wasn't quite in it yet. And so it's kind of in 2 videos. And I hope you hear it eventually. I could do it here, but it's still kind of rough draft, and I don't know. I'd rather do something that somebody recognizes. I'm glad that my indecisiveness is at least amusing. At least you're like, I'm in this for the long run. See if this guy ever decides what song they're gonna do. But at the same time, like I say, welcome to input. Um, but at the same time, the stuff that's said is pretty valuable too. Hopefully, I think so. You seem to think so. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it. Um, Neither of you is jumping on the like button. You're like, but yeah, maybe I want a heart. Maybe I wanna celebrate or smile. That could be a smile, not necessarily a laugh, and I don't know what that one is. Um, and maybe you don't have to decide. Maybe you can do some of any of the, and you both laugh. Well, it's been an interesting experience. Um, he wasn't seeming to mind, and neither were some of the people in his comments. Um, is this still rolling? Or is he back already? He had a be right back. Well, folks, I might. Sometimes surprised I put myself in the chat. I might wrap up because um, people in this guy's chat are chatting with me. I'm enjoying it, and mine's been a bit slow. That was my joke, but I mean, common enough association with Brittany. I'll see if that works. I'll give it a few minutes. It's a pretty active chat, but I'll give it a few minutes. I know I've tried it a few times, but and this guy might not understand, what it's like to have a quiet stream. And maybe it wouldn't actually even really bother him that much. Or I don't know, wouldn't you know. This guy's he seems like a pretty happy guy and a pretty free spirited as well. So the other thing too, and nothing saying up about slow down or what you call it or it has to be this many things between comments or any of those things it sometimes says. So this whole thing has been pretty damn good. But sometimes you don't know somebody, and you should not. But sometimes you can feel the same rush in other ways. So now I did kind of say in the chat, and I know some people are responding um, with nice words to my comments here, and I'm trying to balance it between liking and supporting this performer, and getting a bit of action as well, so to speak. um, and okay, he's just kind of going off the deck there. I'm just going to quickly see, although I don't want him to be distracting. You just got there. Sorry? I know. Okay. He might be warm in the sun because there's not a lot of space there. I know, but kind of. You'll think now and pick it up like that. Ooh, it's windy. Probably happy to not be out in this. I'm just getting the dog some fresh water, and I'll be right there. And hopefully he's tired. Even though it's kind of cool, it's kind of sunny. Hopefully he's tired, we won't be distracting, and we'll see what the rest of this podcast brings. I'd show him, but I would rather drop things. I don't want to necessarily get too specific. I know I'm all about that on this channel, but but our own private life. Sometimes I don't know if I should say this. I mean, some people. I mean, they've been watching his, even though it was a live stream for more than an hour. A lot of people. So people do it, and I know, and I make them and do it too sometimes, or at least a lot of shorter ones in a row. So I mean, maybe while there's nobody here, there's a good opportunity to say the thing that I've been holding deep within my heart to be my authentic self. Not only do I like his vibe and personality and his music, I'm bi, he's hot. There you go. I said it. And I can't be the only one that thinks it. um, just wanted to quickly come here and see if I've missed anybody saying anything to me. His chat's like my chat, but no, but we're our own people, and we should be, and I don't know, as long as we're doing things in kindness, you can kind of mix things together a little bit, but um, the dog settled down pretty good. Now's later. Saying, musical knowledge, read you wet wipe. I'm not sure what I think of that. Well, it looks like a reasonable comment, and I am. What did Jade do that was so bad? It's only been a minute and 40. That's a special note at the moment, but lots of people have them. Eggy. Oh, he does them at a certain time. Now I know how to tag. Can do it in live chats, but not like my own live for some reason. I'm a little bit distracted, and even though I've slowed down a little bit, my ear is a bit sore, and I think it might be connected to my throat, canal or whatever you want to call that. Um, so I don't want to overdo it, but Oh, okay. I don't know who. Okay. We have somebody here, and I'm curious if it's RD, whatever that stands for. It's all good. I don't need to know, but I'm curious. We have somebody here, so that's the main thing. We have somebody here. We have somebody. Yeah. So welcome. Did I just say that? That's the second time that's happened. It's like I'm just. Yeah, like that was too. Um, they're like, no, I can't go away from Maxie. And he's enjoying one of the yards of both. I know you know what it is. You're doing so good. I'm around, folks. I'm around. Doesn't want to come up more. Yeah, the birds are noisy. I heard other people. Well, they're having a party. Maybe they're they're doing a choral podcast. It's like he's testing me on Pink Floyd here. Um, um, because it would be nice to have a little bit of it doesn't have to be a lot. If it is, I'll do my best to keep up. But it would be nice to have a little bit on most of my podcasts. I mean, sometimes there is, but a lot of times there isn't. So, the wind just kind of pulled the door, and the dog was laying down, and he stood up. He's like, "Oh, what was that about?" Um, yeah, no, I haven't seen. Well, don't be goofy. Haven't seen a whole lot of you. Come over here and let me love you. Mm. He's just a little silly sometimes, but he definitely appreciates the attention and the love and being annoying sometimes. It's always nice we can put face to a name where we can kind of know a bit more of the person, but There's somebody in the chat that's kind of chatting back and forth with me on this, guys, and I'm trying to get him over there, but I guess he's just really enjoying Maxie's videos. I can't blame him, and chatting with me there. Maybe he intends to later. Um, and he's probably feeling a little bit of the rush and euphoria, for lack of a different word, and just really feeling into, you know, whether this guy plays gigs out or not very often. He's being appreciated, for his talent and his vibe and the things he says. And we all want that, right? We all need that. And so clearly he's soaking it up. And she's repeating that, but maybe she copied it because she thought she might want to put it there again because she really wants to say it. But that person does not seem like a troll, but they somewhat do. I don't know if we're doing him justice to play this out during. That doesn't look like it worked like I thought it did. I mean, he's been pretty good at seeing the comments, and they are and aren't moving fast. Okay, that seems to be saying donate because it makes me think of Doe and Nate. Just kidding. Accidentally put Tinasha's. I don't know what that means. It doesn't seem to be tagging like tags normally do, so I don't know what that means. They're not still in the chat. They misjudged and blocked. I'm not really sure what that means, but it doesn't look like it's okay. Um, I don't remember the order that I have things. It's weird because I thought GNC would they'd think that was the name. I've got two people curious. I can't bring them in here though, right? I tried that. Um, and I feel mixed about that. I might have to look up what my actual. Can I do it here? Leading healing arts cheering. Okay. It's weird that it's nice to say they subscribe even when they don't know much about don't know me much yet. I don't know. Okay, I see. It's taking myself now. Leading healing arts cheering. Yeah, I mean that's what it says. It's not what I'm surprised I'm not seeing the. Okay, that's maybe just gone on to two lines. Okay, I've done my best to try and help them find it. I think that it will work. Um, and I'm going to come back here for a few moments and see if it does. Just know to anybody that skips along to this part yet and is thinking this guy's not very popular or whatever, people are curious, whether it's what I'm saying or singing in a video or in a chat. And it looks like he's playing music. I thought he was going to stop and chat, and it was like, oh, I want to hear it. But I feel like if I keep rolling a little bit longer, there's a couple people that are at least going to try and hope and to find the content. So I don't know if I should do this. I don't know. I would think YouTube might not like it, might not like it. But I also don't know if I want to do it in such a, although it's a pretty fast chat, active chat. If I I think he's saying that to me, even though he's not saying my name. Some of them he has been. Can't find your channel. Some random Filipino channels popping up. And in fact, the way it typed, it doesn't actually look like a link, but it is. So copy it on in and let's do it. I must say, I haven't multitasted in this way for a while. For a drive for a bray or a bra. I'd take it if an A and V. I'll buy and if A and V, I'll buy your coffee, please. Let's all request Wild Oceans again. I think I saw somebody that goes by 808. I don't understand. To me, it looks like I don't know what it looks like. Looks like the church down the street, literally down the street and around the corner. Oh, we got somebody. Oh, hey, hey, let's celebrate! Woo! You found it. I was, you know where, doing you know what, but not the other thing. So glad that you're here. As you can see, I've been rolling for, I was going to say 118 minutes, an hour and 18 minutes and some seconds. I've done one or two other podcasts today. I've eaten a good meal. I've just kind of all just pacing myself here. But I do appreciate you finding me, hopefully subscribing, the like, the love, the laughter. And I hope that you will enjoy the content on this channel. It's like I say, music, art, healing, mental health topics, spirituality in some ways. And yeah, so I'm curious to know a bit about you. Don't have to say what RD stands for. That's up to you, just as it's up to me. But yeah, where you're watching from, perhaps, how old you are. And I was curious to ask, since where we met, and I don't know if I've ever knowingly met. I've had one person whose videos I was watching in my comments before, but I otherwise don't know if I don't know if I've met somebody this way on YouTube yet. But I mean, I've just kind of started uploading again. Have you ever been to Canada? And actually, we have a lot of things from your country in our home, whether it's art, meditation products. I believe we probably have a flute or two that would probably be considered from there. And how old are you? Oh, and if I didn't ask it yet, one other one. And yes, I'm noticing a little bit of an itch a little bit of a scratchiness in my throat. Oh, well, there's still. Oh, you're young. There's still time. Oh, to be in the 20s again. I'm 38, by the way. It's nice to meet you here. So, I want to ask, what? How would you summarize? What's his name? Maxi. What's their name? How would you summarize? And then maybe I'll answer that question. And then we'll wrap this up with a song. And then I'm gonna rest for a bit. And you can check out the other content if you so desire. It must be either late at night or early AM there. But and now that I put that link there and been mentioning it, things are just gonna Be popping, yo. They'll be popping. 12:51, 2:21 p.m. here. Okay, so it's not that late, but you're a bit of a night owl. Yeah, I realized what you were saying. Yeah, so how would you summarize Maxi? How would you describe him? I'm just curious. And do you consider yourself to be, I mean, your description might say it, but to be open-minded and a lover of diversity? It's so cool, YouTube, you know. But I like, okay, yeah, YouTube is so cool. I mean, that you can just connect with people from so many places. I have another young guy in India. I'm confusing two people. Maybe even there's two of them. I haven't heard from in a while, but I hope they're okay. Um, yeah. Would you consider yourself diverse musically and in general? Because that's another thing. This channel is big about the diversity and the acceptance of diversity. And yes, it seems like he does a lot of good music and has a good vibe. That's for sure. Musically, okay, and in general, yeah. I That's so cool that you're in India and you like rock and roll. I don't know if I'm surprised by that or not. I mean, I know some famous bands. They kind of are popular in a lot of places. You know, um, my guitar is on hiatus, out of commission at the moment, but I do play piano and sing, and we have somebody else in the house that plays flute, and we have bongo drums and all that. Um, yeah, to which part, just to be sure. And I'm just a very curious person, so I'm curious, what kind of work you do, and or if you're a student and all that stuff. And if I can share my that's it must be inaccurate that it says zero because it said it right as your comment came in. If I can share my honest, you know, I mean, I did earlier, but you weren't here then. I, um, but chemistry, cool. Yeah, I'm kind of been in a rut, been in limbo, and yeah, that's inaccurate. It says zero, but here, so I appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm open to being a life coach, a musician, general healer, um, in all, a free spirit. How does that sound to you? Masters. Yeah, is it like in chemistry? Is it easy to find jobs in that? Like other than maybe being a teacher or like I guess a research type of person. In fact, the other person in the house has worked at a power plant and has a very sciencey background, and I might have to call him into this since we're this far into it, and I need a bit of a rest, but I don't want him to embarrass me. Um, I have I do that well enough myself. Yeah, probably bigger than I think. Um, yeah, I sometimes talk about education and degrees, and how I think some things need them, some things shouldn't. Uh, and there's always competition, but it can be good competition. And masters, yeah, that's a lot of year in schooling. There is a song called "The Chemist." I might do it some other time though, because I don't know it very well. But it's eating at my heart, and I've got to say it again since you're here, because I want to be honest and open about myself, for the most part. And so I'd be lying if I didn't find Maxie attractive. And to people who've never seen this individual, although I guess we're saying genders a little bit, they might think that that's Maxine, but we know it's not. But if it was, I might find that hot too. So that's me, in a description. I mean, those jeans and it just sits. And I'm wearing my shorts, so it just so happens. I don't know if you relate or if you accept that, it's also cool. And now it says one again, so I don't know if that means there's two because it also said no one for a while there, but you were here. I do have to duck up to the men's room, so to speak, very quickly. Now it's a zero again. But I could bring the scientist, the chemist, in to have a little chat with you, and then we can tickle the ivories. I say this one's gotten a bit long, but sometimes they do. And now that you're here and we're chatting, I mean, you're liveling it up. It's weird. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. Yeah, I'd love to do some music. Like I said, I think I'll do that for the finale whenever it comes. But energy level, I think it's going to come within the next half hour. The finale. But I do have to take a short break, and I should get the other person in the house out of the sun for a moment. If you don't mind, he does like to be shirtless, and he might appear on camera shirtless. As long as that wouldn't bother you, then I'll call him in. And that okay was already there. So we are boys. Men, but sure. But boys to men. And I get what you're saying. And that's cool, man. But some of us are a little bit more. We're not as confident, and we're all different, And some guys would be like, "No, I wouldn't want to see that," But I feel like deep down, a lot of them maybe kind of would, and they just don't admit it to themselves. But it's all good. The other thing too is I'm on a spectrum kind of in that way too, kind of starting to explore that. So, but anywho, and it's interesting. You were mentioning Pink Floyd. Now it says one again. This may sound weird, but the person who I'm going to bring in lately has been following more mainstream music or more, but in high school has said before that Pink Floyd was the only band he was ever really into. I mean, I maybe didn't have a lot of favorites. I just like music in general, but so I'll go get him to explain himself on that one. Are you back here? I could pretend to be of Asian descent and I don't know how to do it. I have been eating dumplings and egg rolls lately, and that will get me through it. So this is the G side of the GNC, the big G. Coming to theaters near you.
Right. Already came to the big theater. Or might have, in that I was an extra in, or could have been an extra. I don't know if they used the footage, but they filmed a footage for Ordinary Angels. Was that the name of it? One with
well, that's a good segue into the other topic of this. Why has this come up? You're supposed to be talking about science.
Well, you said coming soon to.
Oh, that should be in theaters long before now.
Oh, yeah, it's been and gone. But what should I say about science?
Is this chemistry specifically? But
chemistry?
But keep it light and simple and
Well, science is magic
fascinating.
that works on a reliable basis for everybody. I guess you could say. Back in the yeah.
Loving your vibes, RD. Happy to have you here.
Okay. So if he has any questions, so in any case, yes, yeah. If any questions, I guess you can put them in the chat. But I'm a bit of a science geek. My minor in university and my degree, I have a Bachelor of Arts in psychology, but a minor in biochemistry. And I could quite possibly have gone into science if my marks in organic chemistry and calculus had been better. Organic chemistry, I found.
A cool Indian name, RD. Feel free to say it if you like.
Okay, Pink Floyd. In any case, yes, I'm interested in, I guess you could say, most aspects of science, history, archaeology. Pink Floyd. Okay, well, I guess started listening to Pink Floyd in the 70s, 78, 79. Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, then Metal, Saucerful of Secrets, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, The Wall, of course, Animals. Yeah, I kind of, I've, the sort of unsettling thing for me is that I kind of stopped listening after the final cut. I bought each of my favorite Pink Floyd song, probably something from Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here. Um, Breathe is a very lovely song. Um, from Wish You Were Here, there's Wish You Were Here, however many part, this, that, and the other. I kind of like the instrumental stuff. Um, uh, they have lovely voices, but I really enjoyed the more emphasis on the musical quality. Oh yes, "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." That's what I was trying to remember. However many parts there were, that's a very lovely song. I think what I really enjoyed, if I remember correctly, there was quite a long, extended instrumental introduction for "Wish You Were Here," which gradually
Thankfully
led
you are.
into. Now I can't remember the name of the song, but a guitar-centered, vaguely dance-like number, and then they
It's in my
actually.
spot. Just kidding.
Yeah. You know the piece. That's Echoes. Yeah, that was a different one. That was on the other side of Metal, I believe. And yeah, I enjoyed
So it
that.
echoed it then?
Yeah, I enjoyed them when they were more experimental and put more of an emphasis on instrument color, harmonies, that sort of thing. Once they got
I need a
past,
rainbow instrument. Just kidding.
once they got past Animals and The Wall, they tended to sort of get more into, Roger
Got
Waters
past
started
Animals?
taking over. And now, as I was going to say, the unsettling thing for me is that since I kind of stopped listening, there's been been 20 years or so, and so the band continues to exist without Roger Waters or Richard Wright, and putting out albums, which I gather have been quite well received. I should listen. But I've made a very.
But I'm too busy creating.
I'm too busy creating.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and gardening and dancing and walking the dog.
Finding chemistry in life.
Okay.
And growing your ear hairs, apparently. Just kidding.
Well, it's a sign. It's a sign of wisdom. If you get 3 of them growing out your ear, you can braid them on either side and dangle a little,
Feeling a craving to try and do an Indian accent, but it probably would go wrong. I don't know.
That's probably not terribly appropriate.
But I know you think it's a nice accent, and so do I. You can see the craving, the ear hair. Which start to say.
I think he probably can't see the ear hair, but
he can see that. What do we call this in science? This thing that's going on with your hair?
Infringement? I'm not sure, but
entanglement. No.
So in any case, yes, science is not exactly my religion, but
I have a song idea.
Oh, he has a song idea. What's the song idea? Okay,
It's from Hair the Musical.
From Hair the Musical, but yes.
So it might be something you've never heard before. That was Scottish. Have you heard it?
Nice to have met you. Keep up the good work of advancing the enlightenment that science brings with it, and try not to make any chemicals that are too funny.
Like laughing gas?
Well, in one of no, actually, in one of my chemistry textbooks, and I guess this was just a little joke that the writer of the textbook put in.
Big, but anyway.
Was a recipe for the synthesis of LSD. And I remember, acid. And
we know what it is. But
somebody once told me that acid was made
by your hands together and
pre-med students. It was something like somebody would take the chemistry course and they'd find this thing in their textbook, and so they'd make a batch of LSD, I guess, sometime in the lab, and then when they're finished graduating, they become respectable. Never do that again. And that was to. Yeah, yes, and this is sort of just trivia or whatever, which explains the I gather vast difference in quality and effect of these various batches of acid that came out in the 60s.
Can't believe we're talking about this.
Well, okay, I'm stopping.
From one hippie topic to another?
Well, it's just you mentioned chemistry.
I wish I had a wig though, because my hair is kind of
just if you're if you're a chemist, there must be all sorts of yes. That's right. Hallucinogenic.
Not to be confused with some things you might see on this channel, which don't involve those things.
No.
But, well, usually.
I've never
nothing
been
too
on
hard.
acid when doing a video on my channel.
No, you leave that up to me. No, just kidding. Nothing too wild. Just a candy or a drop of this and a drop of that in the coffee.
Pretty mild stuff.
yeah. But I'm a lightweight. Anyhow.
Pleased to have met you.
If you want to tickle the eyebrows very briefly before I do the song that's coming to mind, and then we'll see. I know that a nap sounds pretty appealing sometime soon.
Okay.
And but it's hard to go even when there's just one person here enjoying it. So
that's right.
That being said, off you go.
I'm going to. Well,
he's going to tickle the piano and see if it laughs. It did. Woohoo! It worked. Thinking of theater stuff. I wish that, although I do have it shorter than I sometimes do, I wish that I knew what I knew that now when I was younger. Who does that? I wish that I knew what I knew now when I was younger. Where are my shoes? When I was more youthful, when I was 25, I was more alive. But I'm trying to thrive at 38, and I'm a bit late. I don't want to wait. There's 8 on there. Not too much though, because I want to remember the song I want to do. The dog's being good though. And it just highlighted the word hairs, so hairs, ha, hairs. Yep. But the piano, I'd be behind him. Our dog just laid down calmly, you saw a moment ago. And there's too many chords to walk over that way. And I'm using a laptop. I shouldn't have suggested going the piano note, because now he's going to... See if you can follow this tune, Glenn. Just a moment. See if you can follow this. I don't know why I'm such a heavy guy. What a weird song I'm doing. But it's from a thing. Why I'm such a heavy guy. I'm hairy noon and night. And I can't sing the lyrics to this song. But you can look it up. It's a hippie song from a musical. I'm tempted to do another one, but it's negative vibes, but it's funny, kind of, sort of. And then I saw somebody was asking Maxie to do Bollywood. That would have been interesting, but that's also the dance style. Yeah, you're the only one here at the moment. I'll tell you this: we have quite a few brass singing bowls from Nepal.
India.
I thought that was part of India, but that shows my geography. We make the bowl sing. You don't like Bollywood, to be honest. Well, that doesn't make two of us. No, just kidding.
What's that?
You just seen it too much, probably. It's maybe a little. I don't know. I was gonna say fast paced, but so are we. Oh, the songs. Well, there's the dancing. There's movies, right? But are you into any particular theater type of stuff, or like there's some rock music in some theater stuff? I'm thinking Rocky Horror, and I'm thinking other ones that aren't coming to mind. You've heard me sing a little bit. I'm not the greatest at the piano, but yeah. I can't stop thinking about Maxie. I wanted to be at his pad. Do you get the joke? I used to be a vocalist in a local band. Do you have content on your channel? Because I have a few people that follow my channel who, are very real and not trolls. And there's one I don't follow anymore. Matt has never made it here. Ernestine hopefully will. Maxie hopefully will. There's a couple that are fairly new. So I've seen one person's content. I saw them before they seen me. But some don't have any. Do you? Because I'll check it out. And I'd love to check out your band. Even if you're not in the band anymore, I don't know. That's a few years ago. I think you said you used to be. Yeah. But what were they called? I might want to check them out. At least there's content with that, hopefully. Yeah, it's been a little bit longer since I was in one, and then also in high school. I would love to be in a band again. I'm not big about bars, and I prefer smaller crowds, smaller or online. But I'm sure there's got to be footage. There's got to be. There's got to be, man. My brother was in a band, famous band in Australia for a while, and now he's a music producer. Hey, even if it's just one video, I wouldn't mind. Of the band? What I'll ask you to do, because we know it can be hard to find channels sometimes, and yours is 2 letters. I'm curious if it's your initials. Even if you just say your first name. I love Indian names. Eero Ekbar IIT Guwahati. I'm not sure what you're saying. But I did almost interview somebody from 2 brothers from India, and they were very unique. But it was the time zone, slightly a language barrier. But they were, I know this is going to be interesting to hear, but isn't it all? Or most of this, it's like all very random. Siamese twins. This is the title of my video. Okay. And if you don't have any other content, then there's nothing else to... Oh, we have Bengal cats in the area, but nothing else to check out there. I would like to ask, though, once this is wrapped up, I appreciate that you've been in the chats, but if you would come to the comments, because the live chat can sometimes be a little bit hidden, and I don't mind that, but and sometimes it doesn't display properly, even if it's set to. And sometimes the comment area is a bit quiet. Sometimes, we're just, I think the algorithms and putting myself out there more on other people's stuff and not just watching it, people will discover. But I won't be for everybody, but I'm glad that we gel. And if you could do that after this is finished, which will be soon, I think. It's pretty close to when I usually take an afternoon nap. I've sang a little bit. I kind of want to do a bit more, and I'll have to check that out. Ritty Man. I've never heard of that name in your culture, but I'm sure it's popular. Or all righty man. Are you RD or are you ready? If I was a red man, seems to be about theater in this one. I mean, we like a lot of stuff. I know stereotypical of the vibe that you may be getting, but if I was a red man, little 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 dumb. Oh, that's interesting. Well then, what part of India are you in? That's interesting that you have a unique name. You're not a Tinder or a Deep or a. You're like, no, but I'm deep and tender. Sorry, don't mind me. You can tell I have a sense of humor, and sometimes it works better than others. Um, you have to come to Canada sometimes. Eastern, nice and specific. I've struggled with compass talk even locally. I mean, you know, everywhere has an east, west, north, and south as far as I'm concerned. Wouldn't have to work hard. So you're only a student, or you also work? Third smallest state, Tripura. I bet it's pretty trippy. Because I'm just thinking, if you'd like to connect on other socials, I might be open to that. Although I've still misplaced my phone, which is what I had the main other one on, except for emails. Nobody's watching at the moment, so I don't know. You never know if they're going to find certain spots, though. If I was to say, I don't know. I mean, it's cool here. It's cool here, but no. I mean, sometimes when people are able to be very real and honest with each other and click, I don't either. A lot of people ask about it, or Discord. I don't do that either yet. Well, we kind of have an Insta, but we don't use it much. But if you don't have one at all, that doesn't mean anything. But that's not the one I was talking about. It seems like the one I'm talking about, it's still very popular, but less than it used to be. Maybe because of Zuckerberg? I don't know. But anyway, or the Meta and this and that. But yeah, so it's very nice and it's a nice thing, right? When people are able to just kind of be themselves and enjoy each other, and I value that. And if I'm being quite honest, I mean, YouTube helps with it sometimes, but I have been feeling, and I know you're deep in your textbooks, but obviously you find the balance between that and other fun online and in general. I am mostly a homebody. July is going to be a bit busier, and I do feel isolation sometimes. I mean, I know in your culture, maybe you don't talk about mental health often, but it is a topic I sometimes talk about here because I also struggle with depression. The other guy doesn't drink very much at all, though. Just the other day, he was saying he helped the neighbors bring a bunch of wine up into their house because they're elderly and they drink wine every night, every day. But he was saying that he wouldn't mind this and this, but he calls himself a teetotaler. I drink, but not often. Alcohol. Part of it is I don't like the taste. Part of it is the cost of it and being low income. But I'd share a beer with you if you bought me one. Buy me a coffee, buy me a beer. Which actually I was going to say, that's the other thing. If you've liked this and you're able to send a donation, that's cool. If not, that's fine. But who can complain about money? But I can't remember if you also are work or school and life, and being on people's lovely live streams keeps you busy enough. I used to drink when I was in college. So did a lot. I only took 1 year of university, and I wasn't that wild. I also didn't live on campus. I don't even know if that university has dorms. It must. Most do, I think. And I do and don't think that's what college should be about. I also, I don't think you need convincing that. Oh, right. Anything in particular you're looking at? like I say, I'm a bit of a life coach. I like to help people, but you know your area best. But and the second person that's here, feel free to weigh in. I've got to wrap up soon. This has gotten long. I've put in a lot of energy and don't have anything urgent to go do, but I will want to change tasks soon. But I'm really glad that you're both here. Curious how the second person stumbled upon this and what you're thinking. Kindness, thinking kindness. If that's not obvious, that's our vibe here. But yeah, I don't think that you have to drink to have fun. I more so associate it or celebrate. I mean, we all look at things like alcohol in the terms of celebrating, having fun, being social, and coping, to be quite honest. And, I guess I've enjoyed it for all those reasons in my life. But yeah, it's not something but if it helps you loosen up and, so many things. It's like medication. Well, I don't want to get into that, but or drugs, whatever. But so there's one. So in a very a fairly short amount of time, first time seeing each other, you have, I feel, learned a lot about me and me you, and I appreciate that. There's only one thing you haven't learned, but I don't know if I should say it here or let you check out other videos and discover it. It's not a bad thing. I'm curious to know what you would think of it. So you were in a rock band? So rock music is pretty popular in India? Yeah, like we made it popular. And yet you only have one video, which I must remember to check it out. Just a moment here. I'm sorry to hear that you aren't in that band anymore. I know from being in bands that they can be really enjoyable, but sometimes challenging. Like I say, one of mine was a high school band. One of them wasn't. You said to search the Aero Ekbar one. You might just have to. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I seem to be able to do it in the other one. What is that latter part about? All in caps and all that. Okay. Fossils? I have news for you. I think you have more than one video. Although that one's a short one on TikTok. Yeah, there's not much. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll check it out maybe tonight sometime. I have so many things open that I want to watch and do, and it grows every day, I feel like. And just when I think I'm getting through it, there's more and more. So you're the guy, I mean, it's kind of a side small picture, but are you the guy that's playing the guitar in the, or the one that's, well, if you said you were the vocalist, there's actually two, just so you know. Just so you know. Posted by two different people. 25 years. 25 years of my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for the destination. I sing that song on here sometimes. Realize quickly that I should that the world is made up of the brotherhood of man. I never understood what this means, or whatever it means. Oh, interesting. So, second person, don't be shy to join in. I don't mind, mostly. It was a university. It was a school band, a rock band in a school in India. Are you kidding me right now? Which is, like I said, ironic. And I actually wrote a song about my being in high school just the other day in one of my videos. And also I've done a meditation on the kind of on that theme, oddly, interestingly enough. It's kind of interesting and unique and random. Oh, so just like one of your classmates that was in the band? I'm confused. I suppose it's no big deal, but I like to try and understand things. I don't like to be confused. I don't know you're trying to help me, but three guys sitting in this on the in or on, and it looks like they. I just saying something about 25 years, so it sounds like you were in it for 25 years, but I guess you just did a lot more shows than content. I mean, YouTube was a thing in 2019. You left it maybe to start school, and because right before the pandemic too. 20 in the future. Okay. Huh. Well, I'll definitely check it out. At least there's something. At least there's something for me to see of yours. We've had a second person here for a while. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, even if you choose not to comment. Like I say, RD, if you could put a comment once this wraps up, just kind of summarizing, how you enjoyed it and putting a comment there for people to see afterwards, in case, I appreciate that. Are you in another band now? I mean, I guess school keeps you pretty busy. Well, no, you do have videos with your band because there's that one. Oh, were they that wild? Yeah, my college days or my university days were a year, and they were fun. I enjoyed them, but they were pretty relaxed compared to a lot of people's, I suppose. I was even pretty good in high school, but I had my wild moments, perhaps. Well, much like for myself, I hope that if you hope to be in a band again sometime soon, or just in general, that you'll get to. Um, I almost want to, but because I'm super curious, I almost want to check it out before taking a nap, but I'd also rather watch it later. Our dog's getting a little bit restless. I really have been rolling for a long time. Welcome to check out the rest of the other content. Obviously, not all of it, but and if there's ever any questions, don't be shy to ask them. Make sure that you're understanding things, and I'll do my best to answer you. And I've really enjoyed you being here. And yeah, the name of what channel? Because I found it, and it's neither of those two. Anyway, you can hear our dogs getting a little bit hyper, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks again. I look forward to chatting again in the future with you. And well, that's weird because, like, I think I found it, and that didn't show up. But okay, I'll plug that in too. Anyway, take care. Hopefully the second person finds something to like within this, and maybe won't be shy, but it's all good. And much like Maxie, I wish we could hang out in person, and maybe someday we will. It's not really easy for us to travel financially because we have the dog at this time. And yeah, it's not really, like I'm just saying now. And I said something else that you didn't get. I said didn't know much Pink Floyd. It's not really. It would be hard for. And honestly, although I think you said it was a fairly small, but that's but our definitions may or may not be the same there. Honestly, from what I know about India and the hustle and bustle and the there's a lot of kind of animals that roam around freely that we don't have here. That being said, apparently, not to be super obvious or whatever, but apparently, like, we're not in the country. We're in a residential neighborhood, and okay, well, if you buy us a ticket, then I mean, maybe I don't see. There's been a couple times recently where we thought, could we travel with our dog? But if he ever got away, then he's away in another country if he's ever found. And I think we'd get homesick fairly fast. But that would be a pleasure trip because G's sister is in a place called Vancouver. I hope that changes for you soon, and I'll be waiting for my ticket in the mail or online somehow. Our ticket, but and it was the same thing there. But she's got a bunch of health problems right now. It would have been really hard to kind of be around her while she's having those. Lo and behold, somebody else from another part of Vancouver that I don't even know if G had ever met, and I certainly hadn't. That was in the area, thought of them, messaged them, came with her hyper kids, and as a lot of them are, but not all of them, right? And it's. But we do have a neighbor across the street that might be willing to watch our dog. She's getting ready for golfing season, and she keeps pretty active. And just so happens she kind of had a mild injury, so it's a good thing we didn't travel because I don't know if that would have affected her ability to help us out or not. But so I mean, we could try and make it work. I'd like to see more of the world, not just virtually and online. I mean, it's great to meet people from other places, but and I guess if you don't have a job and you got student loans, another reason why I'm happy not to be a student, just a student of life, it would be hard for you to travel anywhere. So we connect online and wish that we could travel, right? And you say ha ha, and I get it, but at the same time, it's stressful not having employment, eh? It's I'm sure I'm a Canadian. You've been watching me for how long? And I've said A just once, right? So I mean, we don't say it as much as some people might think. I don't know if you've heard of that or not, but yeah, it's hard being unemployed, but we make the most of it, and we do our best. So yeah, like I say, feel free to comment once this is posted, kind of summarize your thoughts. I think that would be cool to see you do that. I appreciate it. And now I think I really am going to wrap up because my voice is a little bit, not really sore, but getting a bit more gravelly. And part of me likes it, to be quite honest. As long as it doesn't come with the sore throat, it's yeah. You have, I don't know how long you're watching Maxie for, but you have been on your device, awake, not sleeping, watching podcasts for a long time, haven't you? Work goes like that sometimes. But you might also be, oh no, I don't know if it'd be summer there, but even your winters wouldn't be too bad. I don't know if you're kind of on vacation time right now or if you've, and if not, I would imagine it's probably going into Sunday, so at least you're on the weekend. I'd chat with the other person if they were here wanting to chat, but I guess they're just enjoying the conversation and hopefully enjoying the goodness and feeling the goodness and oh my goodness and all that goodness. I was wondering about those shy ones, but we can all be sometimes. But I'm glad that you've both been here, and the dog's just settling down again to my side here. But I'm gonna maybe catch a bit of French air. Oui, oui. French Airlines. No, just kidding. Um, yeah. I never thought German sounded like French, but I thought Maxi was French for the longest time. It's the best kind of air, French Canadian air. Which reminds me, I've been following this lady, and it's so funny. I was pretending to smoke the air just to breathe it in and slow myself down and focus it. And I've never done that before, I don't think, in that way. And I'm following someone who I don't know where she's from. She's in a place that gets snow that doesn't freeze, or at least had thawed 4 months ago. I'm still, and I detect a slight accent, and she's lovely. She might even be the other person watching. She's like, "Yeah, it's me." You figure it out. No, but and she does a lot of outdoor ones, and I think it's because it gets her outside. She seems like an outdoor person, but maybe she's not, and maybe YouTube is what gets her out there more, because maybe she's kind of a homebody or whatever. Um, but she had a cigar. You met that person. She had a cigar, and I can't remember why as I was mentioning this, but I'd be curious to see where she's from, and I have a playlist open. Feel free to make a playlist of a few of my videos that jump out. They do get long sometimes, partly because sometimes the chat picks up, and then I am just enjoying it so much. But and lots of ideas sometimes, and sometimes I have a little bit of visitors as well, um, in other ways. Um, but yeah, so yeah, uh-huh. um, and I went from being addicted on maxis to that sounded kind of funny, but you know what I mean. And the other person I'm talking about, an individual, to being addicted doing mine and talking to you. Uh, and these are good addictions for the most part, right? To have to find that balance between our online life and otherwise, or at least to the best of our ability, and that's usually what ends up happening, you know. But yeah, it's but just in case the other person is saying, I'm trying to figure him out. Like, I think he's saying this, but then he's saying this. I don't know if I should say this, but maybe I will. I discovered the lady I was mentioning kind of in about an interesting video um, that had a certain theme, and then I've watched a few of her other ones, and she's not against men, or even men acting like men often act. Um, it's an interesting topic, and I mean I should be wrapping this up soon, but maybe along with your summary, you might want to say something on this, and I'll wrap it up. And I noticed the other day I was wrapping it up. I'd been rolling for a while, and right as I did so, somebody put a comment, and I guess it went into the live chat because it didn't go into the comments. So, but like I say, it's nice to have them there too. But essentially, she was saying, how a lot of I hope this. I mean, this is what she was saying, um, and then I'll say what I'm saying. No, just kidding. But well, one of the things she was saying is a lot of women are trying to get attention, or at least seem that way. And I understand that point. However, they have the body they have, and even if you're not flaunting it, which if you got it, it's kind of like they're still feminine, and beauty is inside and out, and so what else has she been talking about on her stuff? I'm trying to remember. Um, She has one that I'm quite curious about that I'm going to look up next. I can't remember her name right now, but it's something like Rami something. Honey Rami, get to plug other people. I mean, would I want it? Mostly. I'd prefer to be the one doing it for the most part, I would say. But anyway, she has one about it being okay to be jealous. And that's one that I still have lined up to watch. But so many of us think that it isn't. But it's a innately human feeling. If somebody is doing pretty well in their life and they've got everything they want, maybe they don't get jealous very often. And certain types of certain religious people maybe think that it's bad, but I think it's normal, and I think that it's maybe I'll watch that video and then do that as a topic later. Other than that, it's kind of a blur. Although there are two other ones that kind of stand out. One was she was by a body of water, and there was traffic going behind her. Some big trucks too, a logging truck actually I saw. I almost want to say like she's in Switzerland or something like that, although I don't recall seeing mountains. She's somewhere exotic and neat, I think. And she was pretty much, talking about how sometimes, you just need to let out a good scream. And, maybe go somewhere where, it's fairly private or in your own home. Because essentially life can be hard sometimes. And we have to be able to process that. And that would be a healthy way. Just, not to anybody specifically, but. And then there was another one where she was listing. I'm almost finished, and then we'll. I was going to suggest that earlier. Just make sure you got it up. I remember earlier this morning, I thought I had it under the one leg, and I didn't. There's a lady who's sure. I want to see the lady. All that glitters is gold.
She mentioned that she's been wondering if she wants to if it's not. Oh, okay.
Oh, that was close. There's been a few close calls lately. Somebody apparently had the same kind of dog that we had that was that was 16 and passed away or whatever. And she was early for something, and somehow, I guess maybe because the dog was out on the deck, although then he was back in the house, I guess, when she came back in. And so she wanted to see him. And I guess he didn't have a tight hold on the leash, but luckily, so he was running towards the lady, and so was able to catch the leash. I feel like I don't think it like it's kind of warm, but it's also kind of breezy. I feel like I want to, I feel like I could keep you here for another hour. Maybe I'm wrong. It seems like you've gotten a little bit quieter, but you're just catching up and probably getting tired because it's early there in the morning. You haven't gotten to bed yet, or maybe you're in bed, but you're not sleeping yet. Anywho, I might go, I do know when people recognize, but I might go for a bit of a walk myself. Wow. So this is bedside manner? No, what's the word? Bedside. Oh, Ray. I'm thinking about that lady that did that podcast, knew her. And I'm just thinking of a loved one that I have that passed away in her early 30s. Oh, the thoughts. But yes, it's all good. I didn't know what to make of Tanisha saying what she said to Maxie. that one thing, which you may or may not have seen. I know she was joking, and maybe she actually wanted to be. And if someone was to say it to me, mind, this was more in my 20s, I would have said, I hope you enjoy the magazines. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, this is this whole not having a filter thing that I mentioned. Anywho, but yeah, I'm going to go for a walk, and then I'm going to go to bed and have a little rest, I think. And then I have leftovers for dinner at some point, and I'll check out your stuff. And hope you'll enjoy more of mine sometime soon. And I'll check out other stuff. And then I'll check in some stuff. And whatever that means. And it'll be good, yo. I hope you guys both enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever. It's all part of the day. And don't forget, I hate to say it again, and but just in case you did, again, it is something that helps the channel. And I'd be curious how you would summarize this. So maybe give it a few minutes once it's posted. Come back and put it in the comments. I'd love to see it. Thanks again so much for being here. You have a great day, both of you, and everybody else who sees this. Oh, well, one moment. Holy, this almost didn't happen. Tomorrow, you partying? What you doing? Putting on a suit of some sort? Just kidding. Sorry. But are you ready, man? Are you ready? Essentially. So no wonder you're like, oh, I'm just settling into my oldness, and I'm yeah. Maybe you partied last night. I don't know. You ready for what? Your oldness, your party? One thing I think about birthdays is that even if you're not super old, life can be hard and challenging sometimes, and we should really celebrate every day. But then when we get to that next milestone, it doesn't have to be anything huge or big. A fancy dinner is always good too. But celebrate your life, celebrate your existence, and what makes you great and special. That matters. And I'm always here for you guys. Okay. And yeah. Yeah. I think I pretty much said it how I thought to say it. And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. What name do you want me to say? Either way, happy birthday to you. That was cool how we got a little bit of a drumming section in there. And you know what I'm feeling about it? I'm going to say this because one of you has at least been here and enjoying it, even if you've been quiet in all the ways otherwise. I don't know if you've seen my content before, but one of you has been here close to an hour, and the other one probably somewhere around there too. And you want to know something cool? All the way here in Canada, when I did that song, there was a little bit of an additional party, which I didn't even realize till afterwards. And you both left. Or are you still there? Because it went to 0, but maybe that's because the one left and it's being wonky. I kind of want to share this. It's the only thing, and I mean, you can see my content to see more about it, but it's the only thing I haven't really said. You're here. I do believe in the afterlife, and you seem like a pretty diverse and open-minded person as well. That's why we're getting along. One person that I knew quite well in my life, one I've only just recently met through a beautiful ability that I have. We're playing the drums, essentially, as I sang that. So it was a bit of heaven here on earth. To add to the musical Happy Birthday. I've got to stick around to hear you say something to that because, and that works. That works. And you can thank Ray and Colton as well. I'm sure there's probably more, but those are the two that I felt present doing that. Sometimes I think he's not like around other dogs, which may or may not be friendly dogs, and I really I do. So yes. Finally, I'm wrapping this up. Again, if you would like to and don't mind doing so, a little bit of a summary in the main comment area about what you felt of this. That way, when people come to it, they'll see it. If they don't see the chat first, and maybe I should watch a little bit of this 2 hour and 21 and 19-second podcast, because I like what RD said about it. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, yo? So take care. Have fun. Be safe.